Hi girls, today we're going to use a note-taking system called Cornell Notes. It might help you in your other classes. We're going to do it once or twice this term and we'll see how we like it. To use Cornell Notes, you need to rule off about a third of your page. It's about as long as your finger, so you can put your finger down, just put a tick at the end of your finger and use your ruler to rule all the way down the page. Okay. Now, on this side of the page is where our real notes are going to be, and maybe some examples. And on this side of the page is where we have important facts. So that will really help us when we go back and review our notes. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute and get some pictures drawn. Right here I have two parallel lines, and I know that the lines are parallel because they both have this arrow on them, and I've named little points around the lines. The C and the H are at the intersection of the lines. These two lines are parallel, and there's a line cutting those two other lines or intersecting it, and it's called a transversal. When I look at this picture in my book, I have to get used to naming angles, so I'm just going to name this angle right here. It's angle HCE. Or I could name it ECH, as long as the C is in the middle. And so we need to get in the habit of, how do you name those angles. I might name this angle here, I'll use a different color and maybe a different label. That, I can't name it angle H because I don't know if the H stands for there or there or there or there. The H is just talking about this point. So that curly angle there is angle BHG. And that's important to know how to name those angles. All right, we have some special angles we need to talk about. And I'm going to write down some pictures and names of these special angles that go with parallel lines. The first set of special angles I'm going to talk about are corresponding angles. I've marked a pair right here with my parallel lines and my transversal. You'll note that the angles that are corresponding are on the same side of the transversal, so they're both kind of under the transversal here. One of them is between the parallel lines and one of them is outside the parallel lines. So you might want to make a little note about corresponding angles being on the same side of the transversal, one in between the parallel lines and one outside the parallel lines. Okay, I've made my note, same side of transversal, one inside the parallel lines, one outside the parallel lines. This symbol stands for parallel, these two little straight bars stands for parallel. The next angle is alternate angles. I have alternate angles pictured here. These angles are also equal. They're equal. Notice that they're on different sides or alternate sides of the transversal, and they're between the parallel lines. You should make a note about those alternate angles and that they are equal and that they're on different sides of the transversal. Come on. Okay, I've made a note that these are on alternate sides of the transversal and they're between the parallel lines. Co-interior angles are our last set. These angles add to 180. You'll notice that I've marked the angles with two different symbols because they're not equal to each other. They sum to 180. They are co-interior because co means same, so they're on the same side of the transversal, and they're interior. They're between the two parallel lines. Note, they sum to 180. Okay, just very quickly, we're going to consider angle ACD. ACD, it's marked there. We want to name an angle that's corresponding. Well, remember, corresponding is one inside and one outside on the same side of the transversal, so there it is, CFG. Right, vertically opposite. Vertically opposite was from last week. We learned that in our angles at a point. Vertically opposite is right here. How do you name that? BCF. If you're having trouble naming the angles, let me know. Name an angle alternate to CFG. CFG, an alternate angle. Alternate is on the other side of the transversal. So there it is. I've already marked it, BCF. Which angle is co-interior to CFG? That would be this angle here, between the two parallel lines, but on the same side of the transversal. So that angle is angle DCF. Oops, can you see? Great, come and see me for some work.